Hello, hello, and welcome to the Dream Design Podcast, coming to you live today from gorgeous Daytona Beach, you guys. The weather is amazing. The ocean is to die for, and I am so excited to be here. But that being said, I am just as excited for my guest today, you guys. I am telling you, when I first heard this gentleman speak, it was really life affirming for me. I don't want to say life changing because I feel like that is just such a used up terminology. Life affirming. He is amazing. You are absolutely going to love him. I will be right back with Jason Freeman right after this. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. Oh my goodness, my guest today, I'm telling you guys, just wait till you meet this incredible, incredible guy. He has so much energy and so much passion in him, and he is going to, I'm going to say it. I'm going to guarantee you that he is going to inspire you today, guys. Welcome the incredible Jason Freeman. Hello, Jason.
Hello, great, so amazing to be here. I love your intro. I was like, wow, I want to watch the show.
I'm so glad. Well, you are the show today, right? So
yeah, that's even better.
So usually I tell people who someone is, but because what you do is so powerful, I would love it if you would explain to everybody, what is it that you call yourself and what does that mean?
So I call myself an imperfect best professional speaker, and it all stems from misunderstanding myself and my life story. So just turning the silence on. So we all have challenges in this life. They come up. They just do. And I wanted to get going right away with my challenges, so I decided to come out a few weeks early and surprise my folks in the middle of the night. Surprise! And right away, I knew it wasn't quite the best plan, because this oxygen that had been flowing to me since I begun growing in my mom suddenly stopped. It became kinked. And luckily, my parents had very clear heads and got us to the emergency room in time. But in the process, I lost some oxygen. Hence this beautiful speech impediment you hear now. And I say I misunderstood myself for years, for most of my life, actually. Because I thought this thing that I have was a curse, was a detriment, was something that people wouldn't want. But actually, it's just the opposite.
Yeah, totally. It's what makes you you. It's how you show up in the world. So, I mean, it's going to sound ridiculous and patronizing, but there's so much eloquence in the way that you speak because of the fact that you have a speech impediment, right? It's like, I want to hear more. I'm drawn in to what you have to say because I have to take a couple of extra seconds to process it. With most people, when they talk, it's like they're 5 paragraphs in and you're like, I don't even really know what they said in the first paragraph. But with you, it's like you get to hang on every tender morsel. And I think that's actually really awesome. It really causes me to really think about what you say.
You can call AmyLee, you can call my life, my voice eloquent. just keep calling it eloquent. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much.
No, absolutely. For me, who has ADD, who's constantly like looking in so many different directions and trying to process so much information, it helps me so much. It's like putting blinders on my attention span. It's phenomenal. I love it. So you can come talk to me anytime. But that being said, tell me more about so when you decided to embrace this about yourself and have this be kind of part of your brand, how did you go about turning that into a business?
I wish I could say it was like one magical moment where the sky opened and I suddenly and the divine said, "Whoa, your speech is amazing. Use it." But actually, it's been a process, and that's so what I teach. That we can. I mean that we can move from anywhere we are to where we want to go but by practicing what what the go we want. Um, and so but so there's a whole bunch of stories of practicing different things, but there was one moment that changed my life, and that was sitting in. A friend was dropping me off, Lucas, and I was lamenting my voice or something like that. I was saying, if only I didn't have this, I could do this. And she's like, no, Jason, your voice is a gift. And I'm like, what? No, the thing I just like has and have spent so much energy into battling with is a gift. What? And that kind of changed me from going south in my life to going north in my life.
I love that. And I never really thought of, those cardinal directions as being, good and bad. But when you put it like that, it makes a lot of sense, right? North is like in the direction of your dreams, and then south is somewhere else that we don't want to go.
I mean, I just arbitrarily chose those directions. It just all relates to where do you want to go in life, and are you going in that direction, or are you going off into the weeds of something you're not going to enjoy and something that's going to keep bringing you down? Uh, and for most of my life, I was like wandering around and getting lost, and
So
it was miserable.
your whole concept you have created is about being imperfectly perfect, right? And so I would love to hear more kind of about what that's all about and how you inspire that in others.
Actually, there was do I am imperfect best,
Imperfect best, yes.
and it's about choosing, really thinking about our best and really owning it. I want to go. I'm in Kansas and I want to go to New York City, and owning it involves like actually going in that direction and not going off to Alaska or San Diego because that's somewhere different, but it's not where you want to go. It's not where you want to go. And then along the way, things aren't going to go exactly right. Life presents us with life, and we're trying something new. We are going to make mistakes at it. It's simple. It's funny every time we make a mistake at something, or at least I used to be this way. I'm like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake. But actually, of course, I mean, even when we try our best, we're going to make mistakes, and the choice is, do we learn from the mistakes and move forward, or do we quit and move off where we don't want to go? And maybe we go to Toledo, Ohio instead of New York City and say, oh, I'm glad to be in Toledo. You can make a good life in Toledo, but you wanted to go to New York City, so do that. Do that.
And, I think you bring up a good point. And if I could just add one thing, I think it also has to do with our frame of reference too, because you talk about making mistakes and they're like this big deal, but it's how you frame it. Because, if you're doing a jigsaw puzzle at the dining room table and you realize that you put a piece in the wrong place that caused a whole section to be wrong, you don't go, oh my God, I can't do puzzles anymore. I am a loser. I'm a loser. I should never do a puzzle again. I should just go in a hole somewhere. You're like, oh gosh, I messed that up. A couple of extra minutes out of my day. Got to go fix this. We look at life's challenges as crises. We look at them as problems that are so insurmountable. But what would happen if we looked at them like a jigsaw puzzle? What if we looked at them as challenges instead of crises? And how would that change our ability to look at the ways to problem solve, the ways to reassess what it is we really want in the first place? Because sometimes you think that, oh, this didn't go my way. What a tragedy. And then you're like, oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness that didn't work out, because if it had, this would have happened. And I would have been in this situation. So I think it's really powerful that you look at it and say, this is where I want to go. And this is my beacon. And then I'm going to do everything I can to get there. And I might not get there right away. But I'm going to get there. I have the perseverance to get there. I already see myself there. And then it's how I get there that I'm going to kind of, leave it up to source, God, higher power, or whatever.
I absolutely love the jigsaw puzzle metaphor you created. And I'll add one thing to that. I mean, not only do we think it's a crisis when we put a piece in the wrong place, but we start feeling bad about ourselves and saying, I'm not good enough and I can't do jigsaw puzzles. And we go down this self-talk, chaotic dialogue thing where all that happened is you put a piece in the wrong place because you're doing something you've never done before. That's it. That's all. So just keep going.
I love that. Keep going. Right. You only fail when you stop. If you continue, nobody ever talks about, all the times that Tesla, wasn't able to create electricity, or all the times that all the other people that made Elon Musk, all the, inventions he made that stopped, right? Like, we don't talk about all that. We just talk about the end result. And your legacy is what you create in the end, not all the mistakes you make along the way. That's
my gosh.
There. That's a quote.
Oh my gosh. Your legacy is what you create in the end. Not all the mistakes you make along the way. Oh my gosh, drop the mic. That's amazing.
Yeah, luckily we have transcripts going. So that'll be a quote that we will put up for this episode for sure. So when you started to build this as a business, right? Because obviously, you're a coach now. You're a TED Talk speaker, which is, I think you may be the very first TED Talk person I've ever had on the show. So that's pretty cool.
TEDx Talk to get
you know what? It has the word TED in it. I'm counting it. It's fine. I think you're the first TEDx speaker I've had. How's that?
Oh, okay.
So, but that being said, when you created this into a business, what were some of the things that you were like, this has to be present in my business? And what were some things that you were like, nope, there's no way I'm going to have that? Like, could you elaborate on that a little bit, just in terms of like the work, the work you were doing and kind of what, well, I won't over-explain. I tend to over-explain. So you know what I mean. You say it.
So I have radically different deal breakers today than when I started my business, and luckily I persisted in it over 12 years. But in the beginning, I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, love speaking and stuff, but I'm in this business because I'm going to make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars within the first few years, and then I'll literally buy my way out of thinking poorly of myself, and I'll be this guy, this massive benefactor, and so that was my initial must have, and then when that didn't come into my business in the first few years, I gradually became to develop a purpose-rich business. A purpose-rich business, and my purpose is to get now after 12 years is to get the imperfect best concept out to billions of people, and 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 I'm still working on building my financial, creating the financial balance sheets I want, and that's a work in progress, like so many things are. But so now to have a business that made a lot of money selling something I didn't believe in would be a breaker for me. So now I'm completely on the opposite end of where I started off this massive business adventure.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, your legacy is it's about, what you're taking with you, right? Like it's about what comes after. You can't take the money with you. You can take your ideas precede you, right? Like, or proceed, I don't know, they go after you, right? Like
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that people have said that they're long gone, we still remember that they said them. So I think that's really powerful.
Yeah, yeah, and it just feels so much better, and sometimes I'm pretty often I slip out of it, and I'm like, why the heck am I not making the money I want to make yet? But now I notice that and can guide myself back to acting out my purpose, which, as you can see, animates me. But
But
it doesn't necessarily make me taller, but it animates me.
but I just got some source download for you, if it's okay that I share with you.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people, and I think you already know this, but I just want to say it out loud. So a lot of people look at the money as the beacon, right? Like, I want to make this money, and everything that falls along the way, that's what the universe is going to provide, is how do I make the money? But for you, and what you already have realized, is that your end purpose, your legacy, what you're creating, what you're perpetuating, that's the beacon. And the money is one of those things that's going to come along the way. So it's shifting the perspective of what the focus is and allowing the rest of it to kind of just file in. You don't necessarily want, because you just said the money is not the focus, because if it was, then you wouldn't mind doing things that were out of integrity to get it, because that was your goal. It's not your goal. It's one of the stopping off points on the way to your goal. So knowing that, right, that means that the money has to be something that you just kind of leave, you surrender to the universe.
Yeah, that rings true, and 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 I mean, I'm changing this on a daily basis, but I've had so much resistance over surrendering to the universe. It's like I want to hang on to to that conversation that I'm not good enough because I'm not making enough money. I
Right.
wonder if any of your other viewers ever encountered that conversation, or maybe I'm the only one on earth who does.
No, I don't think so. But we inadvertently, I mean, we don't even realize there really is no intrinsic connection between money and work. There isn't. We created that. We created the idea that wealth and abundance are attached to doing, but it's not that way for everybody. It's energy, it's currency, it's energetic vibration that causes abundance. So we have to divorce ourselves from the idea that it means, 9 to 5 or working harder or doing more. What it really means is aligning with that vibration. And so for you, when you show up as your Jason self, right? Like hilarious and compassionate and empathetic and brilliant, when you do that, you get onto such a high vibration that people just can't help but listen to you and want to buy from you and want to be with you. And that's where that comes from. It doesn't come, you could do one podcast and, say the audience is 5,000 people and make $200,000 from working for 1 minute or one hour, whatever, 20-minute segment, right?
Yeah. I speak slowly, so the 1 minute podcast probably it would need to be a slightly long, at least 2.5 minutes. Sure.
Right. So, but then you could also work for 20 hours and make whatever an hour, right? So it stands to reason. So work and time, but work doesn't necessarily mean abundance. And so we have to get our heads around that. So you have to think about, and here I am like coaching you on here, sorry, but apparently it needed to be said, but you just need to be in your highest vibration, kicking ass, doing what you do. And that in and of itself is going to bring you abundance by virtue of the fact that you're aligning with your soul's purpose.
Okay. And I think a lot of people can relate to this. So then, a way I sabotage myself about this in the past is I would get into a high vibration for a few hours, but then I would be like, check my bank account, and I'm like, nope, the money's not coming in, doesn't work. But the monetary reflection doesn't necessarily work like that, right? It doesn't. It's not like you get in a high vibration for 20 minutes and make $20,000. It's not a one-to-one relationship.
No, but it's also not. It's not a ratio either. Like you manifest what you believe is possible. So if you don't believe it's possible, then it's not possible for you. But the moment that you open your eyes and genuinely believe that it's possible, then it could happen. Because like I said, say you have a $97 offer and you go on, I'm making this up, Amy, what's her name? Amy Porterfield, right?
AmyLee.
Right. You go on a podcast that has 20,000 subscribers. And let's say 10,000 of them, or let's be easy. Let's say 100 of them, right, decide to sign up for your $97 offer. That's $100 times 100 people times 97.
Almost $10,000.
Right. That you could make in 5 minutes. And so, but then again, if you were on a podcast and the person had 100,000 subscribers, and now all of us, and 1,000 people, same exact amount of time. And how much is that? $100,000, I think. Maybe
100,000 subscribers times 97.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. It'd be a lot of money.
Right. But there's no difference, right? The only difference is that you decided that, oh, this person has a much bigger audience and that's such a higher power podcast, or this other person has a smaller audience. But who's to say how much of the audience tunes in and how much of them necessarily resonate? You know what I mean? So you get to decide that, like, energetically, you get to see yourself as the person who has this abundance. And then the universe just fills in all of those pages for you. It's when you're like, oh, but it's not going to, this isn't going to work because, and I'm talking to the audience, not just you, by the way, but like this is my understanding of how these two things are related. So I'm going to create the rule that this can't happen because this is what I believe. And so what you need to do is shift that belief.
So in a way, it's back to the direction thing. If I'm in Kansas and I believe I can only go west to get to New York City, I'm limiting myself not because New York City is not there, but because I'm going the opposite direction as New York City.
Well, think of it like this, and I think I said this to you before, but like if you know where you're going and you know you're going to get there, then the universe is going to pull out all the stops to prove to you that you're right? Because the universe is the great prover. It has to prove you right. It's never
the universe is a great prover.
Yeah. So it has to show you exactly what you say is true. So if you believe that you're going to get here, then the universe has to go out of its way to get you there. The problem is most people don't know where they're going. It's not that they're on their way to New York. It's that they're on their way to money. Well, where does money live? I don't know. I just want money. Okay, but where though? Do you want money in social media? Do you want money in a 9-to-5? Do you want to invent something? Like, where does this, like, what are you doing? I don't know, just money.
money.
Right?
And then, like just having money is going to mean something.
Right, exactly. And so for you, it's like, what lights Jason up? Talking about your book, which we're going to talk about in a second. I'm super excited. Talking about, doing your imperfect best, talking to people who need to hear your message and seeing the way it changes them. All of those things change your vibration. And when you change your vibration, right, you go higher up on the vibrational scale. What ends up happening is that all of a sudden, the rest of your life has to meet that vibration. And then you're getting phone calls. Hey, I saw you on AmyLee Westervelt's podcast, and I'd love to have you on mine. I have 500,000 subscribers. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe if you're out there, call him. He's amazing. And then all of a sudden, it happens like that. The difference is whether you believe that it can happen like that, or if you tell the universe, there's no way. There is no way. And the universe goes, your wish is my command, right?
Your wish is my command. So, can I go off a little bit in the direction I hadn't whatever the word is.
Anticipated, please do.
So, I've heard a lot of this for years, but for a long time, my body physically had so much stress, like on a physical level, that I would hear these things, but then these messages would roll with the stress, and I wouldn't move. So I did 10 years of yoga, and now I meditate, and doing practices like that have really opened me up, so the words can flow through my mind into my actions, into my vibration much easier. Like, hearing this stuff was torture when I was in such physiological resistance to it, because I know that sounded true, but I just would keep sabotaging myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's so good that you brought that up, because there is a somatic piece of it that we try to...
That's the word I was. Somatic. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a somatic piece of it that we kind of try to just, push into the closet. We are in a body, and the body is connected to the spirit while we're here. And so, you can't move the spirit without the body feeling that. And so you're right. Being able to get dominion over this skin suit that you're walking around in is crucial, right? I mean, it's like we think that we're our mind, but we're not. Our mind is a computer, inside of this body, right? Our brain, sorry, our mind, we are our mind. Our brain is a computer inside of our body, and we can control it. We just have to learn how to do that. And so, yeah, absolutely. And you know, the growth that you've gone on, when some people would just be like, oh, well, I'm different, you know, let me be the victim. Let me make it all about how I'll never have X, Y, and Z because I'm different. And you never
If
did
only I hadn't been born with a speech impediment,
right.
my life would have been so good. Blah blah blah. I said that excuse my French, but that shit for years, and it just made me increasingly miserable.
Right. It just took your power away. You know, it's funny.
Yeah, it took my power away.
Yeah, exactly.
It was me robbing me of my power.
Yeah, because then if it's all external, then you can't do anything about it, right?
Yeah, when just stuck small like this, and life sucks.
Exactly. Sheila says the messages are given to the soul, and when we stop listening to the messages, go to the physical octave, hence pain conditions. Yes, exactly. Right. Exactly. You know, I have a story to share that I might have shared this with you when you were on Joe's show, but I'm going to share with you anyway. So I have a son. He is going to turn 2 next month, and he has what's called hypotonia. So he has low muscle tone. He can't sit up yet. He can't crawl. He can't really even hold himself up. And he's not, you know, saying words and all this stuff. And I remember when he was first diagnosed and I knew something was wrong, and I hate to use that term, but when I knew something was wrong, I remember thinking to myself, I've got to get him better. I've got to fix him. I've got to make him like the other kids, right? Like, it's my responsibility to help him become what he is supposed to be. And he's not that, and it's my fault. And then I remembered one day that we were walking out of the grocery store, and there was a family, and they had a little boy who had Down syndrome. And I remember thinking, you know what? If God sent me a child that had special needs, I would take such good care of that child. Like, I would be so humbled to be trusted to have a soul like that in my life. And I remembered having that thought. And you never wish, like, I hope my kid has special needs, but, you know, to be, if that child existed, I would take on the mantle of being its mother, right? And then it occurred to me that happened, that my son was going to be who he was going to be. He was that person. And it was up to me to mother the person that he was, not to change him into what I decided was what he should be. And when I changed that perspective and I looked at Omri as this incredible person who's going to have such an incredible story to tell, however he tells it, you know, whether he ever utters a word, it just made me come back full circle and realize how grateful I was to have him and the way he was in my life. Like, that I was trusted to be the caretaker of someone that special. So I share that with you just to say that when I first met you, it just brought that all back for me. Like, how incredible of a human being he is. And meeting you just solidified that for me even more. And you certainly don't have, you know, the magnitude of issues that he has, but it reminds you of the resiliency of the human spirit and just how powerful we are to change the people around us by virtue of the things that we had to overcome. The fact that you overcame is so inspirational on a spiritual level, Jason. Like, people are going to watch this and just oh my gosh, this man is a testament to the human spirit and to the collective might of consciousness. And so I just had to share with you, I don't think I really explained that well when we spoke privately, like, what a gift you are.
So I'm getting goosebumps. AmyLee, you have such a colossally huge mission on this planet. I mean, you could go around the world for the rest of your life saying what you just said said to me in transforming lives. I mean, I know that's just one aspect of your toolbox of what you have to share, but that gave me so many goosebumps because not only did you notice you were trying to remake your son as you thought he should be, but you were also noticed you were taking on a colossal amount of guilt and pain yourself and constructing your energy because of what you thought should be. But once you thought, wow, I've, I've been given a gift and I can mother this gift into who all he can be as how do you say his name?
Omri.
Omri. Um, Once you thought that, you not only freed him to grow into himself, but you free yourself and free your energy to grow into who you want to be and not be shackled by some guilt or whatever heavy emotions could come with years of going down that path.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just helped me reaffirm that even more. So thank you for that. And that will conclude the sappy eyed AmyLee part of this podcast.
But we're going to make a point right now that that's not happy at all. That what you just said is like a core of human empowerment. Like we each are unique, and we can either try to make each other into some image of what we think of each other should be, or we can amplify our uniqueness and our waves of vibration higher and higher. You got me doing this, AmyLee. Thank you. It feels good.
Yeah, this is where the vibes are, right? Way up here. I love it. So we've been alluding to the fact that you have a book, and from what you said, I think you can actually get the book on the website. So I want to hear more about your book. Tell people why they need to read it, and then we can show them where to find you and all that good stuff.
So the book is conveniently right here. I wonder if that was planned or not. But anyway, as awkwardly awesome, embracing my imperfect best, and no, I haven't won the Olympics for track. It's just a metaphor. But the book came about because I was hearing all these great things like be positive and all these nuggets, but like I said, I didn't know how to apply them, and I think a lot of other people may have that frustration. So I wanted to give a book telling a story of actually going on a journey towards figuring some of this stuff out. And that's my story. But at the end of each chapter, I have questions for the reader to encourage them on that journey. So it's an interactive thing. It's almost like we're having a conversation, except I'm not there. But I mean I am there because I am in the book. But but I'm more here. But you know what I mean. Okay.
I know. I'm like, it's so funny. He's like, but I'm not there. I'm like, but are you? Are there little eyes in that book that go to like cameras all over here? The back of his office is all these like little like people in a book, and you can see them all looking because there's cameras in the book. I am there. Okay, cool. So tell us.
So the great thing is the book is free on the website and it's interactive on the website. And yeah, well, you do that bit. Yeah.
And there you go. That's where. Oh wait, hold on. Right. Oh, cool. That's where you can go to get the book. Wait, my fingers aren't doing it at the same time. Okay, right, that. Okay, there we go. That's where you can go to get his book on his website. He also has links for, like, if people want to get him on your podcast. I know he really is a rock star, Sheila. He totally is. But if you want to have, appearances, he does coaching. He does all kinds of amazing things.
Oh, hire me as a speaker.
Keynote speaking. Heck yes, absolutely.
Big stages, small stages.
Yeah, like if you have a blimp and you're suspending it over the ocean and you got like a hang glider thing, like and you get a microphone, he could do that. He can like
I don't know. That sounds kind of scary to me. But even then, call me and we'll negotiate on the blimp thing.
Oh my gosh, Jason, you are such a breath of fresh air. Does anybody have any questions for him? I mean, I feel like I kind of hogged all the time, but if you have questions, I will give you a moment to ask Jason your questions. As you guys know, he is in my group, which is called Dream Building Entrepreneurs. So if you want, we'll make an after party thread in there where you guys can chat with him, ask any questions. You don't want your mom to see you ask, right? Like, this is public. And so if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop those now. Otherwise, I am going to go ahead and let him go. Yes, it was an awesome live Facebook user. Thank you so much for saying that, because he's amazing.
Thanks, Facebook user. You are amazing, Facebook user.
Guys, if you don't want it to say that anymore when you go live, when you're on here, just give StreamYard permission to have your name. They don't sell it or anything. It's just that they make it so you can see it on the feed. So yeah, okay, no questions. You guys can ask your questions later. Jason, thank you so much for being here. It has been a pleasure and a half. Thank you so much for coming on the show and hanging out with me and making me laugh and making me cry and all of those incredible emotions in between, from the low to the high, but mostly. So.
And thanks, AmyLee, for making me part of a day where you're at Daytona and literally looking out your window at the ocean. So
yeah, you kind
so
of hear.
I bet you'll go outside pretty soon now.
Yeah, maybe. It looks like it might get a little bit stormy here for a minute. So I have some work to do. As I was telling you before we went live, I love me some work. So
cool. Well, have fun loving you some work.
But let's catch up soon. I know, right? Jealous. But let's catch up soon. And guys, please make sure that you get over there and get his book, sign up for his newsletter, get him on your show. If you have a show and you're watching this and you don't have him on, you are missing a huge opportunity. So make sure that you do that. So that being said, thank you so much, Jason, for being here.
Thank you. It's been an honor and really, really fun. So thank you.
Absolutely. So that'll do it for this week's episode of the Dream Design Podcast. I told you he was amazing, you guys, but you didn't believe me. Well, next time I tell you someone's amazing, hopefully you'll believe me. But that'll do it for us. Tune in next week when we have another great guest, hopefully as awesome as Jason, but I don't know. So whoever's out there, you've got big shoes to fill. But that being said, come on back and join us in Dream Building Entrepreneurs. We would love to have you. Until then, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, and may you be at peace. Namaste.